Chris Shanann Watts, Bella and Celeste Watts, Gabby Petito, and Brian Laundrie, aka Gabby Petrol, and Brain Laundering. We're going to get into some weird stuff today, so buckle up. The Finders Cult, which is a cult that allegedly, possibly, may have been trafficking children or doing something weird. So, this is a trigger warning for all you brave souls that are continuing on. Let's get into it and break it down. The Finders Cult. Movement? The Finders Movement. The Finders were a cult founded in Washington, D.C. in the early 70s by Marion Petty. The movement loosely based its teachings on, among others, the writings of philosopher Lao Tzu. See what Wikipedia has to say about it. In the spirit of Mohandas Gandhi and Martin Luther King, they believed in complete passivity when faced with assertive official authority. 1987 arrest case. It came to wider public attention when two members of the movement were arrested in Tallahassee, Florida in 1987 and charged with misdemeanor child of the six children accompanying them. The two men having responded with silence when in a public park the police inquired as to their identity and relationship to the children. Federal authorities concluded that there was no evidence of criminal activity. The authorities contacted the mothers of the children who came to Tallahassee and retrieved them. So what had happened was, allegedly, was the mothers were a part of this movement, quote unquote, this movement, quote unquote, and they would get pregnant and then donate their children to the cult. So they didn't raise them. And the two men were the biological fathers of, I think, two of the children. And all the mothers, like I said, lived at this commune and gave their children to the commune. That's part of their belief system. Their belief system was to raise up the children as adults from birth. Yeah, if you catch what I'm swaying. Boom shakalaka, somebody called the doctor. With those underground tunnels, I mean, what?
1307 4th Street, NE.
Were wallet-sized pictures of children similar to school photos, and some were of naked children. DC police sources said some of the items seized yesterday showed pictures of children engaged what appeared to be cult rituals. Officials of the U.S. Customs Service called in to aid in the investigation said the material seized yesterday includes photos showing children involved in bloodletting ceremonies of animals and one photograph of a child in chains. Custom officials said they were looking into whether a child, how can I say this? Illegalography operation or ops was being conducted. Yeah, I remember when this happened. Well, I remember reading about it and doing reports about it in school. I've always been into things like this for some reason. Anywho, let's get back to it. According to court documents, computers and software were seized from the warehouse, from a Glover Park apartment building, and from a van. A what? A van that was recovered in Tallahassee along with the children. This disclosure about the mysterious group grew out of an investigation that was set in motion by an anonymous, an anon, call to Tallahassee police about two well-dressed men who were supervising 6 disheveled children in a neighborhood park. The men were arrested and charged with child abuse, according to Tallahassee police. Their links to the D.C. area have led authorities into a far-reaching investigation that includes the Finders, a group of about 40 people that court documents allege is led by a man named Marion Petty and their various homes, including the duplex apartment building in Glover Park, the Northeast Washington warehouse, and a 90-acre farm in rural Madison County, Virginia. Where? Virginia. Summer Wells, anyone? I think they also had property in near either Utah or Colorado. One of the two. Tallahassee police who arrested and charged men identified as Douglas E. Ammerman and Michael Houlihan with child contacted DC police Thursday in an attempt to establish the identities of the children. They learned that DC police had heard of the Finders group, according to Tallahassee police spokesman Scott Hunt. No other member of the group had been located, police said. According to U.S. District court records in Washington, a confidential police source had previously told authorities the Finders were a cult that conducted brainwashing techniques at the warehouse and the Glover Park duplex at 391820 West Street, NW. What is NW? Okay, guys, so you got that? NW is an area in the northwestern United States, which is Utah, Nevada, Vegas, California, all that whole area. So, which is right there. You have Death Valley, which goes into the Rockies and into Colorado, into the Great Sand Dunes. It's like all interconnected, guys. NW, so vague. Anywho, let's get back to it. This source told of being recruited by the Finders with promises of financial reward and sexual gratification, and of being invited by one member to explore, quote-unquote, Satanism with them, according to the documents. Who else thought of Nicole Kessinger and her crystals and taking Chris Watts to the Great Sand Dunes right before he left for North and South Carolina, to explore dark
things?
According to the affidavit, the source told authorities that children were used in rituals, quote-unquote, by the members, and though the source had never witnessed a of the children, the source said the children's grandparents feared for their safety. On December 15, 1987, a DC police detective observed a clearing in the rear of the 3900 block of West Street. Leave your comments below. Where several round stones had been gathered near a circle, as well as evidence that people had gathered there, according to the document, which stated, this practice is sometimes used in satanic rituals. I don't think it's just Satanism. I think it's Mystery Babylon, which you'll have people come out and be like, oh, it's satanic panic. And it's just so ironic that Gabby Petito, brain laundering's parents, to Summer Wells, Chris Watts, Nicole Kessinger, they all have white SUV-like, van-like trucks. They're all connected to either an MLM or the petrol industry, and they all will never, ever in life be solved. We'll never get answers. Isn't that interesting? Have an answer. We'll never find out the truth of this matter. Then we have all the family members of the Gabby Petito, brain laundering, Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, Bella Watts, Celeste Watts, Alexis and Thomas Sharkey, Nicole Kessinger and her friend Jim, and
Anadarko Petroleum.
They all signed non-disclosure agreements, so they can't talk. People that work at Anadarko. As far as Don and Candace Wells goes, check out our series, because I do not believe for 1 second that they are some podunk family, and it's strange that every single one of their houses looks like Aleister Crowley's School of Magic, School of Thelema, and all the symbology. It just, every single solitary one of their homes looks like Aleister Crowley's School of Thelema. Y'all, with the white vans, come on now. It's just a lot of coincidences. And then the red organ-looking can Don Wells is handling. It's just very odd. Leave your comments below so far. No, this is other. This is other than what regular schmegular people are about. This is on another level, guys. Anywho, let's keep it going. Read between the lines. So what had happened was this white van, a white van, pulled up at a park where a bunch of parents were with their children. And when they got out of the car, it was 2 men dressed in suits like the Men in Black. But then 6 children came out, and they were dirty and dressed inappropriately and very thin. And several different parents called the authorities, so the police rolled up on them, and this is what happened next. The men were Douglas Ammerman and James Michael Holwell, both described as well-dressed men in suits, aka Men in Black, aka Men in Black, question mark. They used a van to transport 6 scruffy, hungry children of varying ages. The age range of the children was between 2 and 11. The men were released 6 weeks later, with the state of Florida dropping all
charges against them.
Allegations against the movement, quote unquote. Despite this resolution, the issue was brought to wider attention as Skip Clements, a resident of Stuart, Florida, with no direct knowledge of the finders or its members, and then something is cited needed, so it's been
redacted, I guess.
I want to say this is the police officer, so they're making him sound like some Joe Schmo, but it was actually a detective that was like, what the hell's going on with this? And he started digging around. And you know what happens when people start digging around in these psyops, I guess. Were they funded? Or maybe it was an experiment of some sort. Anywho, let's keep it going. And this is all allegedly
and for entertainment purposes
only, brought to attention as Skip Clements alleged without evidence that the Central Intelligence
agents
had compelled the U.S. Customs Service to cease the investigation.
Supposedly, allegedly,
for entertainment purposes
only,
because the commune was used as a front to train agents. Clements' unsubstantiated allegations, side-eye, drew the interest of 2 U.S. Congress members in an investigation by the Department of Justice. This story gained wider attention in '93 when a 1987 report by a junior customs clerk who had no direct knowledge of the finders or its members, allegedly,
and for entertainment purposes
only, was made public, which stated, without evidence, they say that 11 times, without evidence, without evidence, without evidence. Okay, let's keep it going. We know what that means, right? Anywho, that the DC Police Department investigation into the Finders cult had been dropped as a CIA, I'm going to call it that, as a CIA internal matter. Citation needed, in other words.
More redaction.
So, this is redacted too. Despite absence of any evidence or verification, again, no evidence! Don't look over here! Don't look over here! You have no evidence! Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. The belief that this report indicated a large conspiracy of child abuse became popular in some quarters, with Vice magazine assessing in 2019 the finders become a sort of
patient zero
for the larger network and beliefs in government-linked child abuse, such as Pizza's Keepers or Jeffrey Epstein's so-called suicide. In 2019, the FBI released hundreds of documents related to the finders, noting their FBI Vault website it was their top requested topic. This is from the Washington Post from February 7th, 1987, written by Sandra Saperstein and Victoria Churchville. Officials describe cult rituals in child abuse case. Authorities investigating the alleged child abuse of 6 children found with 2 men in Tallahassee, Florida park discovered materials yesterday in the Washington area that they say points to a 1960s style commune, aka cult, aka
psyop,
called the Finders, described in a court document as a cult that allegedly conducted brainwashing and used children in rituals. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. DC police who searched a Northeast Washington warehouse linked to the group removed large plastic bags filled with color slides, photographs, and photographic contact sheets. Some photos visible through a bag carried from the warehouse at
1307 4th Street.
NE, which is the northeastern part of the United States, which is very, very cryptic, I guess you could say. Where several round stones had been gathered near a circle, as well as evidence that people had gathered there, according to the document, which stated this practice is sometimes used in satanic rituals. Leave your thoughts below on all of this. Do you think it odd that the Finders Club had rocks placed in a certain circular position, just like Aleister Crowley's Abbey of Thelema, and how all of the homes look like Abbeys of Thelema? Is it just a coincidence? Is it a coinky-dinky-doo? Or, I don't know. Leave your thoughts below. And again, this is all for your entertainment purposes only.
Allegedly.
Thanks for walking with me, guys. Leave your thoughts below on all this. If you haven't checked out our Summer Wells series, go onto our channel and click on the playlist. And you'll see Summer Wells, Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie, and a whole bunch of different series on the Watts family, the Watts mistress, Nicole Kessinger, and Anna
Darko Petrolia.
As well as Alexis Sharkey and Thomas Sharkey, the other couple. These are all murder cases or missing person cases that all connect or not connect. You decide. Thanks for walking with me. Be back soon with another